Hey peeps, coming to you live from my kitchen as I cook my dinner because you know how fancy and professional we do on this channel. So I'd like to discuss something which annoyed me more than just a tad. Now I was on Twitter last night and I witnessed the shitstorm going down with Leslie Jones, as I think pretty much anyone who follows Leslie Jones and was on Twitter last night did. And for all intents and purposes, as far as celebrity conduct online goes, it wasn't a particularly sterling example of how a celebrity should handle criticism, nor how they should act on Twitter as a professional celebrity. But that said, people shouldn't give her the fucking fuel for that fire in the first place. And what's inspired me to make this video is Mundane Matt's little video and his take on the entire situation. And that is the thing that I think annoyed me most of all. Now, I'm not the fastest motherfucker on YouTube. In my case, the hamster takes a little while to get turning in the wheel and for everything to process inside my head. So I might have gotten the general message wrong, but it seemed to me like Mundane Matt's general message wasn't that people should chill the fuck out, calm the fuck down, and stop acting like a bunch of Neanderthals on the internet. What Mundane Matt's message seemed to be was that Leslie shouldn't react to trolls the way she did, and that basically if she can't handle the heat, then get out of the kitchen, which to me seems kind of bullshit. On one hand, I understand what Mundane Matt's saying. You don't bite to trolls. Anyone that has spent enough time on the internet knows that you don't react to trolls, you don't feed the trolls. But by the same token, you expect a little bit of civility and a little bit more class from people, since this is society and you do generally expect people to act like civil human beings. And although you would be delusional expecting people to act like rational civil human beings, when they have the opportunity to sling shit anonymously and act like a bunch of little jerk-offs anonymously behind keyboards, you generally do expect people to behave in a manner befitting of civility and general 21st century civilization. So, personally, if I were in Leslie Jones's position, I'd be fucking pissed off too. Part of the hate stems from being in the new Ghostbusters movie, which a lot of people don't particularly like. Part of it stems from the fact that Leslie's reported to have reported everybody's Jesus of Suburbia, Milo Yiannopoulos. Personally, I don't get why everybody drops down on both knees to either worship and or suck off Milo at the same time, but then I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the guy's work. I admire some of the things he's done in the anti-SJW community, but by the same token, he has done some very dick things too. Is reporting people on the internet something that should be done? I personally don't think so, but then again, I'm not Leslie fucking Jones, am I? And I can't really say how she should react, how she shouldn't react, or dictate how she's meant to react. I mean, I for one personally don't dig reporting other people on the internet. Look at me. I'm on a 7-day fucking post block on Facebook because some little knob job reported me for calling him an idiot for making a stupid statement about Roman Reigns and John Cena. It's a stupid thing to be blocked for, and I don't dig fucking reporting people. But I digress. The thing is, I personally don't think Leslie Jones should have been put in the situation she was put in to start with. Like, people were doing all sorts of shit, like sending her verbal abuse just because she starred in a movie they don't like. And then there were the people that were resorting to racial slurs, like sending her pictures of gorillas and saying, hey, this reminds me of you. Or saying that Harambe shouldn't have been shot, Leslie should have been shot instead. The things people were saying were fucking disgusting and things that I know they wouldn't say to another human being face to face. If you don't have the balls to say it in real life, I don't really think you should say it to other people on Twitter, let alone celebrities on Twitter. Yes, they're famous. Yes, they have to deal with a certain level of criticism. But there's a difference between criticism and bullying and verbal abuse. When you're comparing a black woman to an ape, then I definitely think you're overstepping a boundary of acceptable criticism. And people are saying, yeah, she should have just laughed it off, she shouldn't have responded. Maybe, maybe not. But then Leslie probably doesn't spend a hell of a lot of time on the internet. She's a successful stand-up comedian. She's on Saturday Night Live. She's making movies. She's doing all this shit. So she probably doesn't really give a shit about internet etiquette and whatever. She's just on Twitter like most other celebrities are to give back to their fans. That's why most celebrities are on Twitter, to engage in their fan base. And then they get this kind of shit, racial abuse for starring in a fucking movie. It's just childish and pathetic on the part of the people that are giving her grief. And for Mundane Matt to say, yeah, well, Leslie shouldn't have bitten, I don't think that's fair. On one hand, I do see Mundane Matt's argument, but on the other hand, I think people should act in a more civil manner. It's not fair to bully a woman, and it's certainly not acceptable to start throwing racial slurs her way because you don't like a movie she starred in and because she reported one of your favourite YouTube celebrities. Boo-hoo. I don't like people reporting other people, but I don't go to Twitter and start hurling racial slurs at them. At what point is that acceptable behaviour? Come on, man. Like, yeah, okay, it's the internet. Yes, it's a vehicle for people to anonymously slander people. It's what people often use the internet for. But by the other token, you expect people to behave in a somewhat civil and human manner, especially when it comes to celebrities. If you don't like them, just fucking ignore them and leave them alone to start with. Don't stoke a fire just because you think it's funny to see someone famous losing their shit on the internet. And don't fucking compare them to a gorilla. That's just ignorant. That is the very definition of racism. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. Whether you agree or not, hey, your opinion. You can agree, you can disagree, but I personally don't think Leslie Jones should have been put in that situation to start with. I'm Damian Skyfire.